welcome back to my channel. My name is Rachel and I'm a knitter and crocheter and maker of things. I'm really excited for today's podcast. One of my goals this year is to be more consistent with content creation for my crafting. I'm very consistent with my crafting, but I don't always show you what I'm doing. And I know I don't need to, but I really enjoy the community aspect of knitting and crocheting and sewing. So I am excited to get to show you what I'm working on right now. It's not a lot, but like I said, I want to be consistent and I'm not always churning out finished objects. It's funny because one of my friends, I was meeting up with her, with two of my friends to knit and get coffee, and she mentioned me. She's like, "You are always finishing stuff." It looks like that on my TikTok and Instagram because I have not blocked anything since before we moved. So everything that I finished between June and December, I didn't block. So I blocked everything all at once and it looked like I was finishing a bunch of stuff. And I did finish some, but some things have just been sitting there. I still have some things that need blocked. But today I only have one finished object and I don't even know if it's truly a finished object, but I wanted to hop on and talk to you anyway. If you're working on something while you watch, please let me know what it is. I love to see what people are working on. Oh, also, I got a microphone from my lovely brother, Drew. He gave it to me for Christmas and I was too afraid to try it for my last video. But today I thought I'd give it a try. It took me 30 minutes to figure out how to work it. And I think it's finally working because I did some testing, some videos with it. But I'm not sure that the audio quality is going to be very good. I don't think I did it right. It seems like a really nice microphone. Thank you, Drew, for getting it for me. I'm not great with technology. I watched the video, I read the manual. If you have any tips, happy to hear them. But let's go ahead and get started. What I'm wearing today is my Sirena Sweater by Cookie the Knitter. And I finished this in November. I've worn it so much since then. This is definitely my most worn sweater of the last 6 months. I made it in Knit Picks Simply Wool in the color Wanda. That's just their untreated, undyed wool. And this is the Aran weight, but I think technically it's more of a worsted weight, if you're being super nitpicky about it. The pattern calls for an Aran weight, and this worked for it, but I think it was slightly undergauge, so I just made a bigger size, but it worked out really well. It is exactly what I want. It's perfectly oversized, it's very cozy. I love this sweater. It is perfect. I really wanted to make something that looked like Rory's sweater in the pilot of Gilmore Girls, and so I think this is 100% what I was going for. I would call this cozy chic. It's very cozy, you can just snuggle up, but it's also I think it looks so good and very fancy. And I went to the orchestra with one of my friends and I wore black slacks and flats and then the sweater, and I felt very fancy. But then at Christmas, I wore this with some sweatpants and I felt very cozy. So it's both. It's perfect. I also wore this to go see Hamilton with Robbie and it was so fun. I wish we had taken a picture, but it was just so crowded. We just got in and got out, but it was amazing. So good. And then I've also worn it to work a ton. It's perfect for that. The only negative is my classroom is it's so funny because at my last school, I was always saying oh, the air is messed up in my class and it was just pumping out hot air. That one at that classroom was pumping out hot air all year round. Doesn't matter. At this school, it seems like the air is just amplified in my room. So whatever it is for the whole building, it's going crazy in my room. So when it was hot outside and the air conditioning is on, my room was freezing, coldest room in the building. And now that it's cold outside and the heat is on, my room is hot. So I've been able to wear this and I haven't been too sweaty. I do keep in mind though, I think about the lesson plan, and I know if we're doing stretchy band or dancing or parachute, I'm not wearing a wool sweater. If we're doing a sit down lesson with drums and recorders, I can wear a wool sweater. So I just think about what I have going on that day. About the sweater though, the neckline is definitely getting a little bit stretched out. You can see, which isn't bad. I think I might add elastic to it, but I'm not sure because I kind of like the big neckline. I don't love that you can see my t-shirt underneath because this is an off-white color and this is a white, and sometimes I feel the color looks kind of funny, but I don't know. I'm not sold on if I want to add elastic or not. I did that on a different sweater and it worked out really well. I just don't know about this one. One thing I did expect was pilling, and that is starting to happen. There is some pretty significant pilling happening. I don't know if you can see on the camera, it's on the sleeves really bad where they rub on my body. And then there is some pilling on the front. I'm trying to prevent that by, whenever I'm at school and wearing this, I'll take my lanyard and put it in my pocket, because when I wear like a store-bought sweater and my keys rub against it, it pills, and that doesn't really bother me because like I expect that. But if it's something I made, I want to kind of be a little bit more precious with it, so I'll put the keys in my pocket. And I do think that has like cut down on the pilling that I thought I would see right here. It's not terrible. I mean, there's gonna be pilling all over anyway, and whenever I see a big chunk, I just kind of like this one, I just pull it off. I don't know if that's the correct thing to do, but I only do that when they're like really big chunks. I haven't shaved it. I don't even have a sweater shaver. I might eventually do that, but like I feel like the pilling just makes it look cozier. I don't know if that's crazy or if that's me being lazy and not wanting to shave it, but the pilling is not bothering me, and I definitely expected that based on how soft the yarn is and the reviews. You know, it's just gonna happen. But I don't like super rusticy, toothy wool because I have really sensitive skin. So anything I pick and know that it's not gonna bother me, I kind of expect it to pill. And that's just like the life of a sensitive skin girl. And now I'm gonna show you what I've been working on. I don't have a ton of things right now. I just, like I've definitely been knitting a lot, but I've been more like monogamous with my knitting recently. So, oh, I have one that I'm not going to show you. If you watched my last video, I had a long gray scarf. I finished that, but right now it lives at school because I use it for car duty every day, and car duty has been so cold. But I wrap it around my face and it covers me from here to here, and then I have my hood on, so the only part of me that's visible is right here. And it is super nice. I love that scarf. The only negative is that I wear glasses every day. I haven't been wearing contacts to school, and it makes my glasses fog up so bad. But it's not like a real problem. It's just funny because then I have to take off my glasses and they blow cold air into them. But after that, I finished my Maggie cardigan. Here she is. I have not blocked it, so I don't know if you'd really call this like a finished object. I have woven in all the ends. I just need to block it, and I need to sew on buttons. But I think it is so pretty. Like, I literally am obsessed with this color. I don't know if it's like my color. I don't really know about my colors, but I don't care. This is so pretty. It's like this most beautiful like cranberry red. The yarn name, well, let me start from the beginning. So I made size 4. I don't know if I mentioned that in the last video. I'm pretty bad about mentioning the size I did. But I did size 4 for the Maggie cardigan, and there are 10 sizes available. I can't remember if I did size 3 or size 4 for my yellow one, but for this one I definitely wanted it to be a little bit bigger, so I went with size 4 for sure. And this yarn is a little bit thicker than the yellow yarn, so should fit pretty well. I did gauge swatch and I met gauge. The gauge is, I'll just put this in front of me. The gauge is 23 by 32. I got that by, I knitted it up, I washed it, and I blocked it with like very minimal pinning. I didn't stretch it, I just made it like straight. And with that, I did get 23 by 32, I think. I at least got the 23. Sometimes I'm not very good about counting my row gauge, but I definitely met my stitch gauge. And I picked size 4 because I have a 90 centimeter bust, and it's size 4 is for 90 centimeter to 95 centimeters, and I want a little extra ease, so I picked that size. And I did use the suggested 3.5 millimeter needles for the body, well, for all over. And then I used 3 millimeters for the ribbing. This yarn is Kelborn Woolen Scout, and the color is Scarlet Heather. I think it is so pretty, but I'm pretty sure it's discontinued. I just found it at my local yarn store. So go Hank. I had never tried this yarn before, but I loved the color, and it felt pretty comfortable. Like, I'd say this yarn is a little softer, but this isn't itchy. It's just like a little bit rougher, and I like the way it feels, so I'm excited to wear it. I got 5 hanks of it at the store, and then I ended up using 4 and like a quarter of the last one. I had a lot left on my last one. Like I said, I haven't blocked it or added buttons. I'll probably end up blocking it today or tomorrow. And for the buttons, I am still on the hunt. I would like to find 18 millimeter buttons in a very similar color. I think that'd be really pretty, like this burgundy cranberry color. Recently, the only ones I've seen that like match that, I don't love the color, or they're like coming from China. I don't want to pay tariffs on buttons. So I'm still looking. I'm not like super in a rush to find buttons, but I would like to wear this before it gets hot. But I don't think it's going to get hot for a little while. I think it'll be fine. When I block it, I do expect a little growth, but not like a ton, because I mean, my swatch grew a little, not like a crazy amount. And when I try this on, it fits pretty well. It definitely needs blocked though, and it like scrunches in on the button band. And it doesn't quite like fit super nicely around my hips yet, but I think once I block it, it'll fit fine. On my yellow one, the button band I wasn't super pleased with because I felt like I didn't pick up enough stitches. So I picked up more on this one, and I feel like it's the same. It's the wrong side of it, but it like pulls in on itself a little bit, and I felt like I had to like really stretch it to make it straight. On my yellow one, this one I have to stretch a little bit, but it won't be super bad. It's more just like, I don't know what I'm doing wrong. Like, I am not an expert knitter, but I feel like I can read instructions pretty well, and I followed the pickup rate to get the like suggested number for my size, and it didn't seem like enough on the yellow, so I did more on this one, and it still doesn't seem like enough. And so I'm like, I mean, I guess we'll see after I block, but I don't understand like what I'm doing, and I kind of wish I had someone that could like watch me do it and tell me what I'm doing wrong, but at the same time I'm like, it's fine, whatever. I don't think it's gonna like affect my enjoyment of the cardigan. Like, I think I'm gonna love it regardless. I just like, I don't know. I did do a really good job, you know, picking up stitches, and I feel like the shoulders look very nice and crisp. Like, I think this looks so good. I especially love, I don't know what to call this like part, if you can see where I'm pointing. I love the way these stitches look, where they go down at an angle. I just think that's like really pretty. And I feel like up close you can see the color variation better. It's got a little bit of variation. It's very pretty. I don't know a lot of like construction terms, so I don't know what this kind of shoulder is called. I thought it was a saddle shoulder, but then I just did a saddle shoulder and realized this is not a saddle shoulder. I think this maybe is like a set-in sleeve. If you know, please let me know. I feel like, I don't know, I'm always afraid to say the wrong thing. Let me check the pattern listing. So I don't know if it says like technically what the sleeves are. If you know, please tell me. I'm very curious. But whatever they are, I think it looks super good. I will show you and update you once I wash and block this and add buttons. Because right now I feel like it's like finished, but it's not like, I wouldn't wear it right now. It's not finished. But I just really wanted to show you. I think it's really pretty. I love the color. I don't know if this is like a super springy sweater, but I'll keep this for years, and I'm really excited. I think this is going to be like the perfect like holiday season sweater next year. So I think that'll be really cool. This is so pretty. Here's my Maggie cardigan. My microphone was tilting down. I don't really know if that affects the audio. We'll see. If the audio is terrible for this video, and you want to peace out, you're not going to hurt my feelings. But like I said, I'm trying to figure it out because I really want to have nice audio and I want to have nice videos. This is my next finished object. This is the Melt the Ice hat. The pattern is by Paul Neary, and I'm just going to read you verbatim the context that's on the pattern listing on Ravelry. So it says, in the 1940s, Norwegians made and wore red pointed hats like this, with a tassel as a form of visual protest against Nazi occupation of their country. Within 2 years, the Nazis made these protest hats illegal and punishable by law to wear, make, or distribute. As purveyors of traditional craft, we felt it appropriate to revisit this design. All proceeds from the sale of this pattern go to the immigrant aid agencies who will distribute the funds to those impacted by the actions of ICE. I have a video on Instagram and TikTok talking about this pattern and why I chose to do it. But I'm sure based on that context, you can tell why I chose to make it. I felt really motivated to make this hat because based on its meaning, but I wanted to contribute monetarily, but this is like one thing I can do. There's lots of things you can do, but this is one thing you can do, and then you also have something you can wear to, you know, show solidarity and how you feel. I have family in Minneapolis, but even if I didn't, I have empathy for those affected, and it's very scary and upsetting and incredibly wrong. So I made this hat. And it's not like I'm gonna stop it by making this hat, but I don't feel like it's incredibly performative. Like, You can have your opinions on this hat. I feel like it does have some benefit, and I feel like it's important to talk about how you feel. Let's talk about the pattern in case you want to make it. It comes in a knit and a crochet version. This is the knit version, both $5, so pretty affordable, and the money goes to those aid agencies. I believe on there's also a link where you can just straight up donate. So if you'd rather just do that, you can. It works for fingering weight, DK weight, or worsted weight. This is the DK version. I just made it with my leftover ball of Scout in the same color that I did my Maggie cardigan. I ended up using like half of the ball that I have left, so there was like 75% of the ball left. I used like half of it, so I still have a little bit left. I don't know what I'll do with it. Something. I did not size down my needles for the ribbing. I kind of wish I did. It doesn't look bad. You know, it's not super messy. I kind of wish I had done that. But also the twist of the yarn is making it slant this way, so that's interesting to see. It doesn't do that on my cardigan because the ribbing isn't long enough for me to really notice, but looking at this, I'm like, oh yeah, it really does slant. I wish I had made it a little bit bigger or longer, because here, I'll show you on my head. I still haven't blocked it, so it might grow, but I don't feel like it's long enough for me to roll because then it doesn't reach my ears. So maybe if I could go back in time and redo it, I'd make it longer. But I'll fix my hair. I still think it's nice, and like it looks fine if I unroll it. So that's probably just how I'll wear it. But I'll block it and see if I get any length out of it. I'll block it at the same time I do my Maggie cardigan, just so I do two at once. If you have questions about this pattern, please message me. Happy to chat about it. Or you can leave a comment. But there's my hat. I encourage you to make one as well. For my whips, I only have two. Let's start with my bigger one. This is my, where's the front? This is the front. This is my Giddy Up by Heidi Kermeyer. I'm not sure if I said her last name correctly. If I did not, please correct me. I am making this in the size M2 out of 13 sizes. So it's like extra small 1, extra small 2, small 1, small. I'm medium 2. I chose that size because the pattern just says make with some ease. The amount of ease is up to you. And so I liked the way the model photo looked. So I looked at what size she made and her measurements, and she made it with a lot of ease. So I picked M2 to also have a good bit of ease. M1 would be like more my size, but with only a little ease. I wanted more. So that's what I picked. The gauge is 22 by 32, so very similar to the Maggie cardigan. I think I'm slightly under, or like right on it, like very close. But looking at how big it looks, I do feel like maybe I'm slightly under. But like I said, I picked a size that was bigger than I needed to, so hopefully it will end up fitting just fine. I tried it on the other day to see the length, and I felt like it fit fine. And when it blocks, it will certainly grow at least a little. But right now, I'm happy with it. It did look so teeny, though, when I was making it, because it was all scrunched in, and I got really nervous. And then I showed my brother-in-law's girlfriend, and she said, "Is that for you?" I'm like, yes, because it looked like a dog sweater. Like, it was so scrunched in. I think it really looked like a dog sweater. She didn't say that, but I think we were both thinking it, or like a kid sweater. This is the same needle size as the Maggie cardigan, so also 3.5, and then a 3mm for the ribbing. Speaking of the ribbing, it's 2x2, and I've never done that on a sweater, and I think it looks so cute. I don't know why I've never done it before. It's really cute, and I want to do it again. But I'm also using Scout, and I think the color is Pewter Heather, but if it's not, I'll put it on the screen. Pretty sure it's Pewter Heather. I did not make a separate gauge swatch for this because I had just made a gauge swatch for the other one. Hopefully that does not bite me in the butt. Pretty sure it should be accurate. So this is a real saddle shoulder. I know that for certain because it says so in the pattern, and I really liked making them. I thought this was super fun. I like the way it looks a lot. Sorry, Mochi is scratching. But I really enjoyed making them too. I thought it was pretty fun. It was a little confusing at first just because I'd never done it before, not knocking the pattern. But once I got it, I thought it was really cool and fun, and it looked really nice. I really enjoyed this part of the sweater. Something I've been doing recently on kind of all my sweaters is spit splicing. So I've done that in here. So I don't have a lot of ends to weave in except for, you know, where I start. And then I think there's some ends on the saddle shoulders. But other than that, every time I've added a new ball, I've spliced it. I also had to do that right at the beginning, like 4 rows in, because I was knitting with Mochi in my lap. I look down and I see her going on the yarn. I pull it out of her mouth and she chewed it in half. So I had to, so I cut off the pieces that she chewed on. Like, obviously I'm not going to put that in my mouth. And then I spliced it together. So there is split splicing like on the neck. And I feel like I can find it if I really feel for it, because it's just got like a slightly thicker feel in that one spot. But other than that, it's fine. And it definitely doesn't have a look. It just has like a feel. But yeah, so I have that memory. This girl ate my yarn. She was fine. She was okay. She's always in my lap, and she's never done that before, so now I have a new fear. About the pattern, the format was a little confusing for me at first, but it wasn't terrible. It's not a bad pattern. It was just a new format to me. I'd never seen it before. Usually, at least in the patterns I've done, it'll say knit this many stitches and then increase for each size. It'll be like knit 2, 4, 6, 8, and you pick the one that goes with your size. But it would say like knit X stitches and then have a table. And then you look at the table to find your size, which at first I was like trying to like find, because there'd be like lots of tables. But then the more I got into it, I really appreciated that, because usually I have to go, okay, I'm making size 5, and I go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 across the numbers. But in this one, I can just see size M2 makes this many stitches. And I'm like, great. It was easy to see. So I appreciated that. It was hard for me at first, but I ended up really liking it. So I thought that was cool. There was also, I love a pattern with a schematic. I love to see a schematic because I'm not always on gauge. So I want to know like how big should it be ideally for each size. And then especially with length. So I ended up having to lengthen it, and I wanted to know how long the whole sweater is supposed to be, because it gave like an armpit to hem length. But I was pretty sure my row gauge was off, and I also just wanted to make it longer, so I looked at the schematic to see what I wanted, and then I tried it on and figured it out. I almost always lengthen the body, unless I want it to be cropped, but I have a really long torso and very short legs. Even though I'm only 5'4", I typically have to make things longer than are stated in the pattern. So I ended up lengthening this, not a ton, probably like 4 centimeters. Not even a big deal, but I wasn't comfortable with the length it was, so I just lengthened it. Same as the Maggie cardigan, I expect a little bit of growth with blocking, but not a lot, so I'm kind of getting very close to where I'd like it to end, and then I expect like maybe an inch of length from blocking. Overall, I really like this pattern so far. I love the neutral color, and I think like the saddle shoulders and the neck give it some interest, while it still is going to be a pretty neutral, just chill vibe sweater, and I like that. Like, I definitely have some interesting sweaters, but I think this year I want to make more sweaters that are like very chill, very neutral, whether in color or style, just something where it's like can go with lots of stuff. And I feel like this can go with lots of things. And I think the color is going to be really cute. And then my last whip is the Poet Scarf by Sari Nordland. I just started this 2 days ago. So I've gotten this far. I really like it so far. I was a little bit scared, but it has not been as scary as I thought it might. This comes in one size, but you can adapt it by just like repeating the chart if you want it to be like a bigger scarf or a shawl, but I'm gonna do what it says. I'm gonna follow directions and make it exactly how she said. I did not check my gauge because it's just a scarf and I don't care. It's just to use a fingering weight and a lace weight yarn. So I'm using Knitting for Olive, Merino, and Soft Silk Mohair. Classic. This is my first time using a mohair with something. I made a mohair sweater with 2 strands of mohair that I never wear because it makes me want to die. It's very itchy on me. It's also incredibly hot, so I don't wear that very often. That was also an experiment. This is another kind of experiment. I want to use a mohair in a sweater, but I don't want to buy a sweater quantity of mohair if it's not going to work for me. So I already had this ball left over from my cardi jumper that I made last year. So I went and got 1 ball of mohair, and I'm trying it together to see how it feels. It is not itchy on my hands or on my arms. I'll probably end up like putting it in my shirt and seeing if I can handle it, but I'll wear a t-shirt under any sweater I wear ever anyway. This is probably going to be a little itchy on my neck, but I'm not planning on wearing it super tight. So I think it will be fine. And if it makes me like incredibly itchy, then I'll gift it to somebody. which is fine because I'm more of a process knitter than a product knitter. Maybe I'm both. I don't know. I feel like everybody's kind of both. But this, I'm excited to wear it, but it's mainly like an experiment for me, just to see how I feel about the mohair. I really like how the fabric feels though. It's like a little bit squishy, very soft, and it's really pretty. Like, I'm excited about this. I think it's so cool. I don't know if I'm a cool enough girl to wear like a little mini scarf with a sweater, but I want to be. Like, I want to be like those Pinterest girls. You know, they're so cool. I want to be that way. This is also my first like advanced lace. Like, it's not like, I don't know if it's like super advanced, but I've only made one lace pattern twice. The like Sirena bandanas that I made, and it had a very simple repeating pattern. So this is a little bit more complicated than that. So far, no major issues. And I've been like really paying attention because I am not sure how to fix problems in lace knitting unless it's like the row I just did, because I can always tink back. I don't know how to undo, like if there's a problem down here, I don't know how to fix that. So if I end up finding a problem farther down, I'll probably just leave it unless it's like devastating and will ruin the whole thing. This is hard for me to do if I'm like watching something or talking to Robbie. I've mostly been doing this whenever Robbie is like reading or if he's not here. Like today it's a snow day, so I did it by myself earlier when he was at work. But I tried to do this while we watched a movie. I just could not. So I ended up putting it away and doing something else. But I've been putting the pattern, like the chart, on my laptop so I can zoom in on it, because I was doing it on my phone, but then as the chart grew and grew, it just became extremely hard. So now it's on my laptop. Probably be better if I printed it out, but I don't really have somewhere to print it besides work, and I'm afraid to get in trouble for printing something that's not work related. So I don't really know what the vibes are yet. I love my work. I love my job. I just don't know what the vibes are for if I'm allowed to print a knitting pattern at work. I don't know. I was looking at the chart and I'm like, wow, I am almost halfway done. 10 more rows and I'm half done. Does this look half done to you? No. So then I like look more at the pattern and it's like, okay, once you get here, repeat the whole thing. And I was like, so I'm not even 25% done. It's just funny to me because I was like, wow, I am going so quick. I'm halfway done. I know that you don't think this is halfway done. That's so crazy. It's just funny. But I'm excited if I do get to keep this, if it's not crazy itchy. I think it'd be really cute with like a basic little sweater or like a button up, and then either tie it or like my friend Soph, they like put like a ring. I saw this on their TikTok. Put like a ring like this and held two ends with the ring. I don't know what it's called, but it looked really cool, and I think that would be fun to do if I can keep it. Otherwise, I'm giving it to somebody. So that's all my whips. I don't have a lot of whips right now. I have a lot of ideas and things I want to do. I just haven't started anything because I really want to get my gray sweater done and get to wear it. I think I'm gonna love this gray sweater. So I've been focusing on it a lot, but I have some future plans. So one thing that I've been looking at a lot recently is the Clara cabled rib sweater by Sharissa. I saw this on Ravelry and I've been obsessed with it, and it's the whole reason that I went and got this Knitting for Olive mohair, because the pattern suggests that you do the same. So a fingering weight and a lace weight, and I thought it would be so nice if I could do that finally, because I've never tried that. I always just substitute a DK whenever a pattern says that. So I was like, this is my moment, and it would be so nice and light and airy, and I really want to do it with like a nice like ballet, like light pink. I think it'd be so cute. And I love the drop shoulder, and it's got like cabled ribs and then a cable down the back on each side. And I'm like, oh, that's so cute. So I really want to do it with the mohair if I can. So I'm testing this out. And if it works, then I am going to get like a light pink. I think it'd be so pretty. I don't want to buy the yarn though if it's going to be too itchy. So we'll see what happens. And then if that doesn't work, I'll do some sort of DK weight alternative. I would also be interested to try like a Surrey, but the only alpacas I've tried, or all the alpaca yarn I've tried, has made me itch. But I'm like, would Surrey be different? Because it's like baby alpaca. Someday I'll do an experiment with that as well. But the Clara cabled rib sweater has a 20 by 30 gauge and has 10 sizes, and I'd probably make size 4. But I really want to do that one. It's like top of my queue on Ravelry. And then like some basic ideas. I want to do some sort of vest, but the kind that goes like a little bit past your shoulder. I think those are really cute. So you could wear it with an undershirt or just like plain. And I think that'd be really nice, like transitional spring thing. And I would do it in some sort of like neutrally color. I've just been very into like making stuff that I can wear a lot with a lot of different pieces. Like last year I made that fox sweater, which I think is so cool, but it is hard to wear like often because it's so distinct. So I feel like if I made a more neutrally kind of vest, I could wear it more often and with lots of things. So maybe like a white or an off-white. I don't know. And then I really want to make, I've been saying this, just a plain navy sweater. I bought a pattern for one, ended up not using it. I might go back to it. But also Andrea Gahn released one called the Bergamot Sweater. And I thought that would be really cool. I liked the construction of it. Just with like a navy blue, I think would be cool. But also, hers was like a light purple, like her sample. I'm looking at it right now on Ravelry, actually. Hold on. It was like a nice light purple. And I was like, ooh, a light purple, like not to copy. Like obviously I copied this from the Sirena Sweater sample photo. But I feel like the light purple would be really cute. I don't know. I always have been like into warm colors. And I thought that I was like, I have warm coloring. But then recently I've been like very into cool colors. And I think maybe that's more my thing. I don't really know my like season. And I don't know if I like really care to like focus on my color season. But I do want to look nice in the stuff I wear. And I've just been more drawn to like cooler colors. So, I don't know. But last year around this time I started doing spring knits because I was in South Carolina and it was just so hot. And I couldn't really get a lot of wear out of my cold weather stuff. But this year we live in Ohio and I already have a lot of spring knits. I don't feel like I need to make a lot more spring, summer unless something really catches my eye. I think I'm probably going to focus more on cold weather things, and I'm hoping that by this time next year I can kind of get rid of a lot of my like store-bought sweaters and just wear the ones I make myself. So even though it seems like I'm making a lot, like I'm like trying to like replace my whole closet of sweaters with my own sweaters. And then also, if I get to a point where I don't need to make sweaters for myself, I can always give them to people. Like I think that'd be really fun, making sweaters for other people. But for now, I just love sweaters. I wear one every day. I cannot tell you the last time I wore something that was not a sweater. Like every day. So as I go into the year, I'm probably just going to keep making cold weather stuff. Like I really enjoyed making this over the summer, so I had it ready for when it was cold. And I think I'm going to try to do that this year too. Like I'll probably start another nice big cabled project sometime when it's spring, summer. But yeah, now I'm getting rambly. Thank you for watching. Let me know what you were working on. If the audio was good, bad, medium, please tell me. And if you have any tips, I'd love to hear them. If you want more frequent updates from me, please feel free to follow me on Instagram or TikTok. My Instagram is RachelMakesThings4, and my TikTok is @FragranceRachel, because I also talk about my perfume over there and knitting. But I hope you guys have a great rest of your day, and I'll see you next time. Bye.